Hi, my name is Neha, and I'm going to be talking about my time and thoughts in this year's drama class. Um, from how I've grown as a performer, well, compared to last year, I think I've become more confident in my abilities. Because last year I'd be like hesitant to get on stage, and it would take so long for me to shake off my nerves. However, like I think with the start of drama club and leading and guiding like younger actors and theater crew, I knew I had to be confident in my own abilities to be able to lead. And I think because of that, and also because drama club was in semester one, and then drama class was in semester two. Like people were starting like theater and drama and whatever in February, whereas I started in September. So I had just become like more comfortable because I'd been doing it for longer, for that year. And then also while performing our neutral scenes in the beginning of the semester, it felt so different from last year, where like it took me so long to get comfortable getting on stage, whereas like I don't know, it just felt more natural and it felt easy. And I think that's because I trust myself and my knowledge more this year. Um, and then also like I took a step back from acting this year. I like did more stage and directing this year. Um, and I think through that I had like found my place in theater. I think that like being backstage and leading is more my thing. I do love acting, but I think that leading, um, I think that I'm better at that. Um, and of course, like I was hesitant about directing in the beginning because I had never done it before. So like I was always asking people like, "Oh, what do you think of that?" And like I wasn't confident in the decisions that I was making. Even if I knew that they were good decisions, I wasn't confident in them. But then towards the end, obviously with the last two plays, like if I had a vision, I was gonna stick to it, and I knew what I wanted, and I wasn't like gonna question that. And then for a student that I think did really well is Rose. Rose is a fantastic actor and she's a reliable student. She came to school every single day, rain or shine, and she put her entire effort into literally everything that we did in class. And then not only that, but like her energy is just so infectious. She's so positive and uplifting, and she makes sure that everyone around her feels safe and comfortable. And I think that like with new actors, especially because with the class, like not everybody wants to be there, and so like being not forced but like forced to go on stage, it can be embarrassing, except like you can like it's when an actor is working with Rose, like it you can just see them like immediately lose their nerves because they just feel so like safe and comfortable around her, and I think that that's just so amazing. And then Rose not only acted in the plays, but she also assistant directed. So it's already like crazy that she's acting and she's also assistant directing, which is very hard to do. Um, and then she also like in Cafe Murder, she got the role of Maitre d', which was in her comfort zone. It's very like similar to how she acts in real life. But then in Speed Date, she was the role of Velma, which I know that she wasn't so much like nervous or like was she was hesitant about playing that role because I know it's so outside of her comfort zone. But I think like the fact that she even just went for it, like it just speaks to volumes because like it's very hard to step outside your comfort zone when you're on stage and everybody's watching you, and she did it so perfectly. Um, and then she taught me how to handle and lead more compassionately. I think that because I was so used to not being brutal, but like being a little bit more strict and whatnot with Cafe Murder, so that transition into assistant directing for Speed Date and for 14 Ways, Rose taught me to be more compassionate and understanding. Um, yeah. And if I could change anything about the course, it would be to have smaller performances. Because in previous years we did like monologues, choral scenes, tableaus, improv, and like there would be more opportunities for us to be on stage. Um, so it would have been I would have enjoyed to have that. I think that like having the addition of a small play that we the class got to work on together was really good. But I think maybe it would have been better to do one play instead of two because I think it got a little too much to handle. Obviously, like, we did too, so that everybody could get a chance to do a little bit of everything, but I think that, like, it didn't end up working out that way because other students had to pick up the slack of the students that didn't want to do a lot of the work. Um, and then I also think that because we're working on two plays, it took away from the class time that we could have been doing to other things because it took up 2 months of the entire, actually, because we started in March, so it took the entire semester basically. Also, I think there should have been more summative assignments because we only had the games and the neutral scenes, and that's it. So like it makes it harder for like students to boost their grade because like if you didn't do well on the plays, then like your grade's not gonna look so good. Which I don't know. I feel like there should have just been more summative assignments to be working on. My favorite moments during the course were the weeks, like the last week leading up to the final production, because you could just like see everyone working around you and like you could just see how hard everybody was working, and it was just so cool to see. Um, and like on the actual night of the performance, it was so like fulfilling that everyone was like listening to the directors and like everybody had their own task, and like there was not one person that was just sitting down doing nothing. Um, and I saw like the actors were getting nervous, so I gave them a pep talk, and like I could like physically see them calm down, and then I got to stand in the audience during the performance. Then I got to see and hear the reactions, and it was a very fulfilling moment. I felt very proud of my peers. How drama is used for a social change. Well, drama I think is like used more commonly to tackle like gender roles, diversity, inclusivity, and like um, you can see the mention of like the pandemic and protests and whatnot throughout like upcoming plays, not like necessarily in Langstaff, but in other schools. You can see the rise in like vocalizing about social change. And like many movies and TV shows, they like to add diverse actors through like race, gender, body type, disability, sexuality, like that kind of stuff. And then in previous plays at Langstaff, we did a play in 2021. It was like a play about immigration, except it was done through like Zoom. It was like an online play. So I think that like even Langstaff has tried to tackle like social change, like the pandemic and whatnot. Except in the stuff that we did in class, we chose like dated plays. However, we didn't stay true to like the gender roles in those plays because we had certain characters. Like Paola chose, like she played a male character. And then we also had students act on stage like regardless of their background or like anything. Um, and then we also edited certain lines from the script that were more dated and are not socially acceptable. Um, for like example, in Cafe Murder, there were some inappropriate and like racist comments, so we just kind of took them out. So I think that like while our change might be a little small, I think it's still changed nonetheless. Um, how has being a drama student impacted my high school experience? I think that this year has been so different compared to my other years of being in drama. I've said it so many times, but like in the previous years, it was just kind of like I was a student in a drama class. Like it was just a class. But this year, like how I got to lead and direct and be part of backstage, I think I just learned so much more this year of like the ins and outs of drama that I hadn't learned previously. Um, and I just think that like drama solidified my confidence in myself, and like it made me so much more motivated to come to school because I was like excited that we were doing something. um, and I think that like I'm really happy that we got to put on the productions. I think that like it was a great way to end off like the last year of drama, um, for me at least. And so I don't know. It was very fulfilling, and like it was a great way to end off the year. I think it was perfect, um, and it was very memorable.